Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Check it out. Today I got my son Kian helping me out. And today we are going to unbox and actually fully review the Hoverstar Aquajet Dive H2. We're going to take everything out of the bag. We're going to put it together, show you everything that comes in the box. And then we'll go to the beach and we're going to actually ride it. We're going to get some cool footage of Kian riding it, of me riding it. And I'm also going to mount one of my 360 underwater cameras on there, so you get some cool footage and just see how this thing performs in the ocean. Anyway, let's get started with the Hoverstar H2 review. So Kian's going to take out the fins first. Now these are the things that have to snap on to it. So we've got two side fins. And then we're going to pull the main unit out. There it is. The H2. Giant thing, huh? Let's go ahead and set it over here. Look at that thing. That's pretty big, huh? This is the top of it. I've already kind of put a GoPro mount on the top, but this is how you put them on. So you're going to have these straps that are facing you so you can put your arms through. And then these just go right in like this. Go ahead and shove that in. There we go. One on there. And then the other one goes on the other side. I'll hold this. Shove it in. There you go. And you can see how these two notches basically clip it in. So that's kind of how it looks, guys. That's the Hoverstar H2. Okay, so now we're going to take the other stuff out of the bag. Now this is everything that came in the box. I just wanted to show you everything. First little side bag has actually a swimming cap. Now they say you need to put this on if you have any kind of long hair, and they actually provide you one, so that's pretty cool. Just because it's such a giant propeller back here, you don't want your hair to be getting tangled in it, because that could be really bad. We've got an instruction manual. We've got a little kit here. This is grease. These are extra O-rings, and there's an extra little air plug here, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. And then on the very bottom of this pocket, we have an extra dive weight, 5 or so pounds, and it's kind of like a scuba dive weight, where you know how if you're diving deep, you want to have a weight belt on. This actually goes right inside of the top nose if you're using it for like scuba diving. So I'll show you how that also works in just a second. So on the other side pocket, I have the charger. So just your regular type of charger, plug that into your wall. And it does have the connectors right here to charge the battery in the craft, which I'll show you in just a second. And last thing in the box was this little pump. Now this is a tiny little kind of foot pump, and the reason for this is if you look over here on the craft itself, it has this little screw right here. There is a tool inside of this package with the grease and the O-rings, and you can undo this. That's if this cone is completely sealed. So you want to be able to release the pressure, otherwise it's going to be too hard for you, like in cold climates, to take this off. So they enable you to actually take this pump, put it in, take out this little plug, put it in the plug, and actually pump this so you can pop open the nose cone if it's too hard to open up. So that's basically everything that comes in the package. You can see the backpack is pretty darn awesome. Really heavy duty nylon. It's got padding here. The straps are really heavy duty. It has a couple of handles here. That pull string top is great because it kind of seals everything in. You kind of saw how it was when Kian was walking in. So just a really good backpack they give you too. So that's pretty awesome. Getting to the H2, let's go ahead and take this nose cone off so I can kind of show you what's up here. You see how it kind of already popped off? Because right now, since I'm in Hawaii, it's pretty warm here. There's a lot of pressure. But that's how that thing, it's just a few O-rings there with some grease on them. And that's how the inside looks. And you can see the shape is just so the battery fits on there. If you were to use this weight right here, this is the weight. The weight would just go right here. You see how that dive weight just goes right on if you needed that extra weight for doing like your scuba diving. And that fits right in the nose cone. Let's see if we can put this all on together. And then all you do is push it down. Go ahead and clip that one, Kian. Push this down in good, and then go ahead and clip that one. Yeah. So that's how that whole nose cone goes on. So that's completely watertight in there in the battery. So again, taking off, you can see how it's popping up because there's quite a bit of warm pressure in there, and we don't want to get any sand, dirt, grass on there because that's what's making the seal. So there's two connectors. There's this small little one here, and this is how you're going to charge it, by the way. Then we have this large connector here. We'll take this off. And here's the battery. So look at this big boy. Lithium ion 7S6P 15AH battery. Wow. So that is a big battery, 378 watt hours. So big old battery here. It's completely waterproof, completely sealed. I can see that there is some resin here all over it. They say you don't want to pick it up by the cables here, so you always want to be just holding the battery like this. And you can see the cavity is just empty now. So this is all going to be sealed up and waterproof. Again, same thing, you want to make sure you don't have any like sand or anything on this edge right here that the seals are sealing up against. Kind of non-adjustable, it looks like. Little handles on each wing that you're going to put your arms through. And the way you're holding this is you're putting your arms through and you're clamping down, and these are the triggers to make it go, right? So there's one there, and there's another strap on this wing, and on this side there's actually a little button speed switch here. So what this thing does is it's a 3-speed, so 1, 2, 3, as you're holding down the trigger. So that makes it go, and then that changes your speeds. Coming in here at the bottom placard, as we can see, it says the product name is Aquajet Dive H2 by Hoverjet, and it's an 800 watt power. It uses 25.2 volts. We'll just check out the back motor real quick, kind of close up before we take it in the water. So check this thing out, guys. This is where you want to be super careful. I mean, this will cut your fingers off. You can reach in there pretty easily and touch this blade from this side. Stainless steel hardware, of course, big bolts, big nuts all over the place. A giant propeller. This looks like the propeller I actually have on my electric motor, my e-propulsion motor on my boat. This guy right here is actually a screen, guys, so this will come on. We'll be showing that in the ocean dive. And it comes on, it shows you how much battery you have. Let's dive with this thing and see what we can do and see what kind of footage we can get. So we will meet you at the beach. All right, guys, so we're at the beach. What would you say? It's like 25 pounds or so, Ken?
Yeah, like 25, 30.
25, 30. So it's a little bit heavy, but it's supposed to be pretty powerful. So why don't you take that backpack off and let's take it out and set it up. There you go. All right, so does it float? Cool. So guys, remember there's a weight you can put in the top here. So if you're doing like scuba diving and you need that extra weight, you can do that. But without the weight, you see how it's floating? So it's rather buoyant. Cool. So click it in again and you'll get medium speed. And then click it in again, it's fast. So what do you think? It's pretty powerful? Fast? Okay. I'm going to take this bad boy on a journey south that way to some of the reef where there might be some turtles. And let's see how this thing does on a journey. Thanks, Ken. Okay, wow guys, so I've been trekking for what seems to be about an hour. This little gauge on the top actually has the voltage and battery percentage. I think it said like 24.9% on the volts and 29% on the battery. So it looks like it starts flashing at you around 30%. So I'm gonna start heading home. I'm pretty close now, but man, I must have been out here for 45 minutes to an hour, so that's pretty cool. I'm gonna kind of bring it in, let the kids play around with it, and we'll do kind of a final assessment, little pros and cons. Alright, well I think that's going to wrap it up for the Hoverstar Aquajet. What was it called again?
Hoverstar Aquajet
Dive H2. Yeah. Pretty cool. So you do have a readout on the LCD, kind of hard to see in the sun. But if I kind of just looked at it like that and shaded it while I was out there, I could see the battery power, I could see the voltage. I put this little sticky mount on top of that female GoPro mount in there, and that's just because I wanted to put this camera on. So I guess there's a couple different ways you can do it, but this did great like this. I mean, it's not fast enough where it's gonna rip the camera off, as long as you don't hit anything. Really cool how you could adjust your speed on the fly with this little button here on the bottom. So that was super awesome. And it seemed pretty maneuverable, up and down, of course, no problem, because it's got these lateral things. So you just flick your wrists a little up and down, and you really have a super easy time controlling it. Or you can just yank one of the arms and turn, so it's actually easy that way. It has a nice gradual speed increase, no jolting. And even when you hit the button to select your different speeds, those kind of gradually come on. As far as the safety goes, you really want to be careful with putting your fingers in the back. The cage is really open in the back and the blade is really close, so super careful. Be very precautious with your hair and extremities, especially fingers, and maybe even the lacing on your shorts might get caught in there, so be careful with that. But it was kind of cool. You can kind of use it as a boogie board, and you just rest your stomach on top, and you can just be on the surface, very, just barely under the surface, looking down at the bottom. Or just take it, dive deep down there. Just like anything, it's got some buoyancy to it without that weight in the cone. So if you really want to ease your time diving down, put that weight in the cone, because you got to fight that initial buoyancy for a couple of feet, just like anything. But then once you get down a couple feet, man, it just goes pretty darn quick. If you're a scuba diver, and you're looking at some kind of scooter, this might be a really good option because it's got such a giant battery in the front. Even the low speed is probably fast enough for most scuba guys. So having a high speed option though is pretty darn awesome. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that review of the Aquajet H2. Really fun, and much mahalos for the company for sending me this one as a demo. I'm going to be keeping this, so we're going to be having some more fun with it. Maybe doing some other dives off of our boat and stuff, and doing some deeper water dives. So stay tuned for those. And as always, all the stuff I'm using in this video, links in the description. Playlist on all of my water scooters I'll have pop up here, so you can check that out as well. It's not like too complicated of a piece of technology, but it's well executed, I think. And it's a really neat concept with the wing design, and you can just put your hands over the wings like you're kind of riding like a Manta Ray or something. So pretty awesome, and hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. How was it, Ken? Fun? Alright, man. It's a big boy, but it's pretty useful. Alright guys, so just got home and threw this thing in the pool, of course, as usual with all ocean type of electronics. And you always want to throw them in fresh water. Just make sure your pool isn't super high in chlorine. Rinse all the salt off of this. And check it out, just took it out of the backpack and threw it in, and it looks like these wings are super buoyant and sealed up. So looks like some sand might accumulate in the joints here, so make sure you just rinse that out good. And you can see the main unit, that's kind of how it floats without the wings on, because it's got kind of like air in the top cavity here where the battery goes in, and without the wings on it, just kind of like sinks a little bit. It's kind of tail heavy. Since you can't really see this LCD screen in the sun and everything, I'm going to turn that on right now for you guys and show you how that looks. So you pull in the left trigger there, and as you can see, I only have 24.3 volts, and the battery's only 14%. So you don't want to really use this anymore, just a little bit of running to flush it. But that's kind of how that LCD screen looks, so at least you know when you're getting low on power. What happens is if you're in like a higher mode, at the beach this happened, if you're in a higher mode and the voltage gets too low, it just goes down to the low mode automatically, and then it will stay at that mode, and then it will shut off on its own when it deems it's like entirely too low. At least we know that this has good circuitry in there so that it won't damage that expensive large battery, because this is not a cheap unit. We want to make sure we don't damage the components in this. So just remember, flush it really good, run it in some fresh water after, and charge that battery back up as soon as you can if you run it this low. Anyway, just make sure, I'm going to run it a little bit in the water here just to get the propeller moving and get as much water through it as I can, and be sure to charge this up at least half charge before I store it.